Today on Sugar Spun Run, I'll be showing you how to make these fun gender reveal cupcakes. Hey guys, Sam here, and today I am excited to be sharing these gender reveal cupcakes with you. So some of you already know that I'm pregnant, and we found out a couple weeks ago that we are having a boy, which, wow, that has actually been surprisingly shocking to me because for some reason I was sure we were having a girl, but I was wrong. Anyway, we're very excited, and while I didn't do any kind of special gender reveal party or anything, I thought it would be fun to make these cute, easy gender reveal cupcakes. So today we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna be making a very easy cupcake base. So the first thing you'll wanna do is go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we'll get started on those cupcakes. Now you're going to need a medium-sized bowl. You wanna make sure this is clean and grease-free. And you'll need 3 large egg whites. We're just gonna add these into our bowl. And you'll wanna use an electric mixer to beat these until you get stiff peaks. Now the reason we're beating our egg whites like this, we're gonna be folding them into our cupcake batter later. It gives us a really nice, soft cupcake. Now really, you could technically use just about any cupcake base for making these gender reveal cupcakes, but this one I really love because I made it especially so that it's a denser cupcake. So it's gonna hold that gender reveal surprise really nicely. It's going to be easy to carve into, but it's also really moist, very flavorful. I just really love it. So I recommend using this base. You'll want to stop beating your egg whites as soon as you get to stiff peaks. You'll notice that they've increased in volume. They're going to be very white and they'll be a lot thicker. And then if you pull the beater straight out of the mixing bowl, you should see that these little peaks at the edge of your beater right here, they stand straight up. They don't fold or fall over on themselves, and that doesn't happen with the peaks in your bowl either. So these are looking pretty good. So we're just going to set our egg whites aside for now. And you're going to need a new large bowl. Now in this bowl, we are going to combine 1 cup of granulated sugar, a ½ cup of canola or vegetable oil, either one will work fine, and just 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And you want the butter to be softened just about to room temperature so that it's going to easily combine with the rest of our ingredients. Now you'll want to grab your electric mixer again. You can notice I have not cleaned my beaters since I beat the egg whites. You can if you want to, it's really not necessary. It's not going to affect things in the grand scheme of things. So I'm just going to use these to beat everything in our new bowl together until it's creamy and well combined. Now let's add a ½ cup of sour cream. This is a key ingredient for making these cupcakes so moist and giving them a really good flavor. Let's add all that in there. And we'll also add 1½ teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then just go ahead and stir everything together again. Just want to use my spatula real quick. Make sure that anything that might be on the sides or bottom of the bowl that I might be missing with my electric mixer, make sure those are all getting nicely combined. Now you're going to need a new bowl for your flour and your other dry ingredients. Now this recipe calls for 1 1/3 cups plus 1 tablespoon of flour. I know that sounds specific. If you can, I really recommend baking with weights. It helps make sure that you get the exact amount of each ingredient that you need. So you're gonna put this in a separate bowl. We'll add a ½ teaspoon of salt, a ½ teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Just stir everything together until your dry ingredients are well combined. And this part is important. It's why I always do my dry ingredients in a separate bowl. You just really want to make sure that your baking powder, baking soda, salt, and flour are nicely combined. If you just add everything with your wet ingredients, everything doesn't always get distributed the way you want it to, so that's why we do the extra bowl. Now let's bring back our wet ingredients. We're just going to be dealing with our butter and sugar mixture right now, and we're going to gradually add the flour mixture into the wet ingredients. Now at this point, I'm pretty much done with my electric mixer. I like to do everything by hand. That way we avoid over mixing our cupcake batter, which could result in dry cupcakes or cupcakes that are too dense. I'll usually do this in 2 or 3 parts just to make it a little easier to get everything combined. Okay, now grab those egg whites that we beat earlier, and we're going to add these to the rest of our ingredients, and we're going to use our spatula to just fold everything together until it's nicely combined. You do not want to overmix this. Again, you don't want to beat the heck out of your egg whites, but you do want everything to be nicely combined. And unlike with the flour, I'll usually add all of the egg whites at once. Now your batter is going to be a little thick, so it is going to take a little bit of coercing to get everything completely combined, but just go slowly, use a gentle hand, use a spatula, not an electric mixer, and everything will come together. This batter is looking pretty good, nicely combined. You don't see any patches of egg white in the batter. So let's go ahead and portion out our cupcakes. Now you're going to want a 12-count muffin tin, and I recommend lining it with paper liners, and then just evenly divide your cupcake batter into your cupcake or muffin tin. Now I like to use an ice cream scoop to do this. It's optional, but it makes the job a lot easier and a lot less messy. Let's take these over to our 350-degree Fahrenheit preheated oven, where they're going to need to bake for about 17 to 19 minutes. A good way to check that they're done is that if you insert a toothpick in the center of one, it should come out clean or with a few moist crumbs. After your cupcakes cool completely, we're going to transfer them over to a cooling rack where we're going to start carving into them and then filling them with our sprinkles. Now you want to let these cupcakes cool completely before you go ahead and start carving into them. Now once they have cooled, you're going to want to grab a knife, and then we're going to just take each cupcake and you're going to carve a hole kind of like a cone shape. So you want it to be smaller at the bottom and larger at the top. I'll usually flip it over and let gravity kind of help me get that top piece off. Now the important thing is that that top piece is in one piece. The rest of it, if you have a lot of fluff in there, just use your knife to just kind of gently carve it out. Now do not carve all the way to the bottom of the cupcake, otherwise if anyone takes their cupcake out of the wrapper, all of the sprinkles are going to fall out, so you don't want that. So this looks pretty good. Now take that top piece that you just cut out, and this is actually pretty thick. You just want a small portion of that top left. So I'm going to carve off the bottom, and then you should just have this nicely sized plug right here. Keep that with the cupcake you just carved it out of. That way you can match them up when you go to plug your Gender Reveal cupcakes. So just repeat this with all remaining cupcakes. Now you need to go ahead and grab your sprinkles. Obviously, pink or blue is going to depend on whether you're having a boy or a girl. We're having a boy, so I'm using blue sprinkles. Now, you can just use one single type of sprinkles. I have these confetti sequins here. I could just use those. I'm going to use a mix of a couple different kinds. These are just nonpareils, confetti quins, and jimmies. So I'm just going to make a little blend of those just because, why not? I'll go a little light on the nonpareils just because these have the tendency to go everywhere. So don't want to make a huge mess when your guests bite into these cupcakes. So we'll go a little light on those. Just stir this together. And now just fill each cupcake, not completely to the rim, but almost to the rim with sprinkles. And make sure you don't have any of those sprinkles peeking out on top. Make sure they're all in that cavity that you carved out. And then just grab each cupcake topper plug that you reserved and gently press that down over the sprinkles. All that's left to do now is decorate those cupcakes. Now, your cupcake toppers that we just pressed back down, they should do a good job of concealing any holes that might show the blue or the pink if you're having a girl. But if not, don't worry, because the icing, we're gonna make sure the icing covers that. Now today I'm going to be using my Swiss Meringue Buttercream that I just shared in my last video, one of my new favorite frostings. It's a top contender right up there with my cream cheese frosting. Now of course you can use any frosting you'd like. I'll leave a few links to some of my other favorites below. And yes, I like to use a lot of frosting. You don't have to use this much. The important thing is that you're covering up that little hole that you carved. And the tip I'm using today is just a large Attico tip. It's an Attico 848. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You can leave these cupcakes just as they are, just plain white and mysterious. I'm going to use a mix of blue and pink sprinkles. Right now, rather than just bite into this, I want to cut it in half so you can get the full effect of what these Gender Reveal cupcakes look like when you bite into them. And how fun is that? I'm losing sprinkles over here, but I just wanted you guys to get another shot of the inside. So I like this idea for gender reveal cupcakes better than some that use frosting in the middle or colored cake in the middle. I just think they're a lot of fun to bite into. Just makes the gender reveal experience a little bit more fun. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed today's gender reveal cupcakes. If you try this one out, please let me know what you think. I always love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. They're good too. Hey, if you enjoyed today's gender reveal cupcakes, I would really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, if you enjoyed today's recipe, here are a few others you might like as well.